I was cleaning out the loft the other day and I got to be thinking, if I found an old dusty lamp and I rubbed it and a genie popped out, who would, because I am of a certain generation, have the voice and mannerisms of the late great Robin Williams. If this genie was to pop out and offer me some wishes, what would I wish for? Well, I thought, obviously after the better hairline and the classic Range Rover that didn't break down every 3 minutes and the half a dozen Margot Robbies circa Wolf of Wall Street era, somewhere further down that list, after the important stuff of course, would be the wish that I could gamble like a normal human being, be a bit more normal in my behaviour around gambling. And I think as gamblers and as addicts of any kind, this is something we often find ourselves wishing for. Why can't I be more normal? Why can't I just behave and indulge in this activity in an enjoyable and sensible way, like so many people that I know do? And this is what I want to discuss in this video. And if you watch to the end, I will sort of reveal why I don't believe this is something we actually would really ever want to wish for, regardless of what toxic behaviour, what activity, what addiction we are indeed referring to. Firstly, as always, I just want to say hi, hope you're keeping safe, hope you're keeping sane. Welcome back if you're a loyal subscriber. If you're new around here, welcome. Watch this video. If you like it, like, subscribe, do all that great YouTubey stuff, and I'll give myself a little bit more of a plug at the end, rather than waste any more of your time right at this moment. It's one of life's most unfortunate paradoxes, is that the people who feel compelled to, and I will use the term loosely, enjoy certain activities that are potentially harmful or toxic, these people who feel most compelled to spend more and more of their time doing these activities are indeed the ones that shouldn't be doing these activities, and they're almost certainly the ones who would have the most to gain from abstaining from doing said activities. Now, of course, in this video I'm going to talk mostly about gambling, but this applies to an awful lot of this type of activities. We could apply it, of course, to alcohol. The people who drink the most are the ones that probably should be drinking substantially less or not at all. And they are the ones that have the most to gain, as I am currently trying to experience. They're the ones to have most to gain by abstaining altogether. Same could be said, of course, for recreational drugs, which follows a similar path, but also less seemingly harmful activities, such as pornography, for example. The people who use pornography the most would probably, at least psychologically, have the most to gain from cutting down or abstaining altogether from the use of pornography. So it's a very, very unfortunate paradox that the people who seem to enjoy or at least get the most from a certain activity are the ones that would benefit the most from abstaining, but also have the most to lose by continuing to partake in that particular activity or addiction. As gamblers, as I opened up with, we often have this idea that we wish we could be more normal. We wish we could just have a casual bet on the football. We wish we could just have a little bit of a go in the casino maybe on a stag do, or you go to the races with some mates, and we wish we could just have a few sort of casual bets on the horses. We wish that we could be those people who just literally put their loose change from their round in the fruit machine, but don't follow up with note after note after note until it's all gone. And what I want to do in this video is sort of deconstruct and dispel this fallacy in two major stages, really. Now, the first thing, which I think is very, very important to consider, is that this desire to gamble like a normal human being, okay, and that's pretty much the terminology in which we put it, isn't it? Oh, I wish I could just gamble like a normal person. I wish I could just gamble like someone who, enjoys a casual bet or enjoys a casual punt, or can, do this activity without getting wrapped up in it and playing until their bottom dollar's gone. We can kind of cut out the normal person in this situation, okay? This is not our conscious, logical, rational brain talking. This is our gambling brain talking. And I'll say that again. This is not our rational brain talking. Okay, this isn't us making a conscious, sober, sensible decision to be more normal. This is our gambling brain talking. And what it's saying is not, I want to gamble at a moderate, sensible, recreational level like these normal people, who we can casually at this point disregard. What your gambling brain is telling you is, I want to gamble. And that is its way in. I've spoken many times about how the gambling addiction, the demon, if you want to personify it, in the back of your head is incredibly crafty. It's the same demon that after a certain period of recovery will tell you, you can have a quick go, you can have a quick punt, you can have that football bet, you can have a casual tenner on roulette, or whatever it is. It's that same gambling bug. It's that same gambling demon that tells you, well, what if you could gamble like a normal person? All it's saying is, what if you could gamble? That's all it's wanting you to do. It's wanting you to convince yourself to get into a position where you believe you can safely have that first bet. Because once that floodgate is open, we know it's going to take more and more to close it every single time we relapse. All right. So when you think, I wish I could gamble like a normal person, all that is your gambling brain telling you, I wish I could gamble in any capacity. Because you know full well subconsciously that once you start gambling again, even if you could maintain a low, sensible, normal level of gambling for a reasonable period of time, that eventually it would accelerate, you get back to your previous level of gambling, and in most instances when you lapse or relapse, you then end up surpassing that level, and things get worse and worse and worse every time. Alright, so don't be fooled by this rationale of sensible, normal, logical, recreational gambling. Alright, it's just your brain trying to trick you into allowing that demon back in, so just don't do it. Now, the second reason, and I think this is a more sort of conscious, logical reason as to why we shouldn't wish to gamble like normal people, which, like I say, after the Margot Robbie thing in the Range Rover, would be further down my list of wishes, as a recovering addict. Why would we? Why would we want to continue to partake in an activity that we know is so potentially harmful? All right. Now, we as recovering addicts, or as gamblers, whatever, we know more than anyone about the activity of gambling, and we know everything that entails. So if we look firstly just at the losses, all right, we know more than most people. Most people would maybe have a punt and not really understand house edge. They wouldn't understand RTPs on machines. They wouldn't understand the bookie's edge or whatever. Okay, and they wouldn't necessarily understand just how much the odds are stacked against you, and just how much you're destined to lose if you continue to gamble time after time after time. We have that knowledge because we've been there, we've done that, and we've repeated that process multiple times. Okay, we actually have an insight that this normal person doesn't have. So why would we go and put ourselves back out there, even on a casual, low-cost basis, when we know that we're going to lose? Secondly, and possibly most importantly, we know that recreational, normal gambling at a normal, sensible, safe level, okay, is, regardless of whether it's affordable or whatever, it's a footstep on that path towards the situation that we have found ourselves in previously. Okay, it is a path to addiction. Now, it would be remiss of me to say that everyone who gambles recreationally, ends up becoming an addict or having a problem with gambling. I know people who have gambled most of their lives and they've been fine. They've not ever suffered from addiction. But why would you risk putting yourself on such a dangerous path, knowing how destructive and harmful the destination can be to so many facets of your life? Finally, is it fun? We are sold gambling, we are sold betting, we are sold casinos as this sort of, almost glamorous, fun, kind of cool, sociable pastime. This activity that's going to lead to sort of laughter and, banter amongst your mates in the pub as you watch your football bets come in. If we contrast this to the reality that we have experienced, and like I said earlier, we have more experience of this activity, more experience of this addiction, more experience of the behaviours around it than almost anyone else, we can contrast this portrayed, advertised, fun exterior of gambling against the realities that we know oh so well because we've experienced it firsthand. So think about your gambling activity. Think about the amount of times you actually remember enjoying it. And I've spoken about this before, but those times that you do remember enjoying it, were you enjoying the gambling facet of that activity, or was it because of the situation you're in? Yes, maybe you were at a casino on stag do, maybe you were at the races with your mates, maybe you were in the pub playing the fruit machine with your mate and having a bit of a laugh and a banter, and you just happened to win. So you have this sort of positive affirmation of the activity when actually the gambling was completely irrelevant. You would have had a good time and enjoyed yourself anyway. We have this experience. We know the realities. So why would we allow ourselves back on that path, even if we believe that this time around we can control it, which secretly we know we can't? And that is where we have an advantage over the so-called normal person. I see people day in, day out, in my normal life, most of my friends gamble in some capacity. All right. And I'm not saying that they're going to end up as addicts. I'm not going to say they're going to end up with problems associated with gambling, but they are somewhere on that path. Now, it might be they never take another step down that path in their lives, but they are on that path. If you are in recovery, you are off that path. So we have the advantage of seeing that path for what it is. Why would we forego that knowledge, forego that experience, forego that advantage that we have, that we've paid so much for in both terms of time and money? We've spent so much money learning this lesson. Why would we then go back on that? Why would we then put ourselves back on that treadmill and put ourselves back on the path to complete destruction? All right, so next time you think, oh, I wish I could gamble like a normal person, just think what that normal person is experiencing, and is it really worth risking everything just to put yourself back on the path to destruction? I hope that's good. I hope you're keeping safe. I hope you're keeping sane. Like I say, there is a Patreon link in the description below. I'm going to start uploading unique videos for the Patreons. Thank you to everyone who supports me that way. If you choose not to, you can support the channel just by liking, subscribing, maybe leaving a comment or something like that. All that good YouTubery stuff. But until next time, have a great weekend. Stay safe this payday, and I'll speak to you all soon. All the best.